Hey y'all, I say y'all like I've been out in the country down south somewhere, but hey y'all, haven't seen you in a minute. Just getting back into garden. It's mid-August now. Been about a week and a half or so since I posted anything. Wanted to give you guys kind of an update. We just got past Hurricane Debbie, which actually was, by the time it got to us, was Tropical Storm Debbie. But we got about 3 inches of rain on Friday. I'm recording this on Monday. It's about 3 days ago. We had almost 3 inches of rain. And let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's get some updates on where the garden is. All right, well, as you can see, everything, it's shaded right now because remember we got this big tree line up here. It's about 5 p.m. If you hear the mower in the background, I'm sorry. I guess I just chose a poor time of day to record, but it is what it is. So I'll try to keep my voice at an ample level so you guys can hear me correctly. But just looking around in general, we got beans still. We have that assorted squash. I'm in this very first community bed. Still have beans, not a lot. I think it was because of all the moisture. I'm not sure. I did pick about maybe a pint on Saturday. So beans are still doing fine. They're healthy as can be. You remember the groundhog was back there tearing those beans up. But squash, I just picked some off of here. Yeah, but you see, there's still flowers and there's still fruit coming in. Fruit right there. These big Thai chilies are still abundant as ever. Still reach back here. Still have eggplant coming in. It's about the size of my hand, so it's probably today or tomorrow I'll pick that. Still have jalapenos and Thai chilies all kind of bundled together. And then remember here I planted this was originally where I had the onions back in, I don't know, I put them in April, I guess it was. Then I picked all the onions. You can go back in the videos when I picked all of them. Then I put some assorted squash in here. And the reason why it looks so bare is in the back corner right there, had a really, really beautiful looking squash plant, but it was all leaves. Came by one day and the vine borer had attacked it. It was all flopped over. The whole root system had been, or excuse me, the stem system had been destroyed. So that's kind of bare for right now. But we do have in these assorted squash, I'm not sure of this variety, but there's some sort of a zucchini here. It's got to be, I don't know, about 8 inches right now. So probably going to pick that pretty soon. Still have Roma tomatoes coming in. Still doing fairly good. Now this bed, I called this whole community bed, I called it the sacrificial bed for the squirrels and for the groundhog, because it's 40 feet long, going from one end down there all the way down. It's 40 feet by 4. So in order to stake and fence this entire bed, to me, it just wasn't worth it. Now if this were my only bed, yeah, probably gonna figure out something better next year, just for the community's sake, for my sake, you know. And it just sucks. You put a lot of effort into doing stuff, and you know, Mother Nature has their feast. So it's about quantity sometimes. Still have some great looking okra coming in. I just picked some. Back of this bed was primarily 2 or 3 Better Boys, and then our vine tomatoes, the whatever they were, honeycomb, and the Chef's Delight. Those were indeterminate, but they pretty much died back now. They gave us a ton of fruit this summer. And then back here, we still have that okra. As you see, we still have a lot of okra coming in on there, even more down here. The okra's been plentiful. I'll show you when I get over to the table exactly how much okra and how big it gets, how fast it gets big. And then you remember this was the back of the second community bed. I kind of did this as an impromptu. I think it was probably about June, like early June. There was about 10 feet by 4 feet that there was nothing in here. So I amended the soil, mulched it, fertilized it. I put in green peppers, as you see, doing quite well. There's actually 2 or 3 varieties of squash in here. I just saw, yep, right here, some yellow squash coming in. There's 3 on that. There's another ones back here. More green peppers. Where did I see some? Right here. Big, big healthy looking green pepper. Right there. And then the beans around the edge. I was picking some. And then the groundhog came in and just chewed them straight down to the stalk. I will show you this back bed. It was kind of an impromptu thing as well. We had those collards in the back. That's where the groundhog was destroying them. But as you see, they're coming back. I picked off all of the eaten stalks, let them go. We still have radishes right here, and we still have another yellow squash. If you can see under that leaf there, there's a squash growing on that one. And then all in all, the garden is still, it's August 12th or 13th. And, we're in the midst of hot DC summer. The humidity's been outrageous. And stuff is still looking quite good. Even here, the small little squash bed that I did last minute, still have squash. I just picked a big zucchini off of that one. So that's still doing great. And then I'm going to have a fall project coming soon. You remember we have these 3 4-foot by 8-foot beds along this fence line that are heavily shaded in the summer. So the cold crops are doing well. If you look, Swiss chard, there's some cabbage, there's some kale, there's a pepper plant. And then I saw there's some yellow squash coming in right there in this member's bed. But this next bed here is going to be vacated. Person who had this bed is relocating out of state. And they've already relinquished this bed. So I got in here this weekend after all that rain. Got it all weeded. You see all the pile of weeds there. Got all that dug out. And because of the location of this bed, it gets really great morning sun. And I'm thinking for fall crops, we're going to do quite a few rows of garlic, some collards, and maybe some broccoli. Trying to decide. I have some stuff germinated in the garage. Didn't fully decide what I'm going to do yet. It's just based on what germinates well. Definitely, I have garlic seed coming in. Usually arrives to me like, I'm going to say mid to late September. And for me to plant it here in Zone 7 in Washington, D.C., I typically like to have garden planted by about Halloween. By about the following, the 4th week following Halloween, whether it's the last week of October or, somewhere in that range. But basically, Halloween is my deadline of putting garlic in to do well in this climate. And then, the other beds, 2 other beds that I'm managing here, both of these are still, you see some of that white eggplant down there. We still have a ton of red tide chilies coming in. Beans as well over here, they have flowered. You see there's plenty of flowers in here. They just haven't given off the beans yet, and I think it was due to the amount of rain that we just had all at one time because we were really fighting the tomatoes that were splitting. Excuse me. But this bed as well. And then as you guys remember, over here by the canopy cover, we have the watermelon. Watermelon's looking beautiful. I'm not certain. I think somebody took one. Because I swear I remember a big watermelon being right here. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I'd say 8 or 9 altogether, watermelon. Not sure what's going on with the pumpkin patch that I kind of just threw together, just trying to fill up space. on beds that were not being used by other members, which is fine. But let me show you quickly my little harvest here today. Now, I've already picked all the tomatoes and packed them, but I was still able to get cucumber, squash, okra, green tomato, some assorted peppers. But this was what I was going to show you when I was talking. Look at the size. I mean, this okra is 12 inches, something like that, but it gets real tough when it gets that big. But I'll give you guys a quick secret. We actually used, I didn't recommend it because I didn't know he was doing it, but one of the other gardeners who was helping me trap or try to trap the groundhog, we caught the first one, as you guys know. Carrots and green beans is what we finally got that groundhog trapped with. And then he set the trap again, and he put those big, tall, long okras in there. And sure enough, the next day there was another groundhog in the trap. And we've relocated the first one 15 miles away. And there was another one smaller, maybe little brother or little sister or cousin, who knows what it was. So we're going to give it, today's Monday. That was caught on Thursday. So we're going to give it until like midweek, because we don't want them becoming fearful of the trap. We want them feeling comfortable with the trap if we have more. Now, who knows? All this woodlands back here, who knows what's back there and how many groundhog families there are. But only 2 so far have been caught. We've relocated both of them to totally separate locations and sent them off out into the wilderness. But, you know, with that being said, guys, I know it's been about a week and a half since I had any content, so I owe you an update as to where we are and what we're doing. And next thing is my germination for the fall. So I'm going to get into that in probably in the next day or two on where we stand with all of that and give you some updates on that. But as quick, short, simple fall, or excuse me, fall. It's the middle of August out here. It's smoking hot. Just a quick update for all of you. If you guys enjoy the content, like following along, want to learn some tips and tricks, I have some other videos on my channel. If you would, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. That helps alert the algorithms on YouTube of the content I'm providing. If that adds value to what you're doing, or if you're learning, or if you're commenting and we're working back and forth together, I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits for this one, and I will see you guys on the next one.